Good afternoon and welcome to SWAT TV News at 3. I am some blessed and with me in the studio is my co-presenter, with the headlines. Atiku's PDP supporters in Imo on warpath with ohakim. UK calls for credible and peaceful elections.
Court sacks Okeeze, Imo SDP, Uber candidate. It's my last lap. I won't disappoint, Buhari assures.
The news in details. SWAT press can confirm that there is palpable dissension in tension with the rank and file of the PDP states just few days before the March 9th governorship and state house and assembly elections. According to an insider who requested to remain anonymous, tensions are rising between PDP leaders and members in Imo State loyal to Atiku Abubakar, the PDP presidential candidate, and elements of the party structure loyal to ihedioha, the party's governorship candidate in Imo State. Ihedioha reportedly got in the bad books of Atiku for not supporting his presidential bid and for backing that of Aminu Tambuwal. After Atiku succeeded in picking the party's tickets, ihedioha tried to make amends, but that didn't prove very successful. It was recorded. ihedioha is also being blamed for the quantum votes APC got in Imo State in the just concluded presidential election. The source points out that even in Anambra, where Governor Obiano openly backed Buhari, the APC was only able to get about 30,000 votes as compared to the comparatively large number the PDP won in Imo State. The sources said that APC's performance in Imo State proved that either ihedioha still did not back Atiku in the election or that he is not the vote getter he claims to be. That's why we fear that, like 2015, he might again take us all down with him in this election. When asked what they will gain by not backing ihedioha in the governorship election, the source said that one of the other governorship candidates we are considering backing has promised to decamp PDP once he wins the election, and we trust him more than we trust ihedioha. The source, however, refused to name the candidates when pressed to do so. He did emphasize that Hope Uzodinma and Uche Nwosu are not and can never be in consideration. The PDP in Imo State has a history of not backing its governorship candidates since the party won that office with Atiku in 2003, 16 years ago. In 2007, PDP abandoned Ararume and backed ohakim, and he won. In 2011, PDP abandoned ohakim and backed Rochas Okorocha, and he won. In 2015, it was said that had PDP fully backed ihedioha, he would have defeated Okorocha, especially given that he had abandoned the Apuga and decamped to APC. That was very unpopular in Imo State. From the latest disaffection amongst leaders and members of PDP in Imo State, it remains to be seen if there will be a repeat of the party working against itself in the governorship poll as it had done in the past, at the risk of costing it another election.
A federal high court sitting in Owerri on Tuesday sacked the governorship candidate of the Social Democratic Party SDP in Imo State, Okeeze. The court has also ordered the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) and the SDP with immediate effect to replace Eze's name with that of Mr. Casimir Anyanwu. Anyanwu had approached the court to challenge the candidacy of Mr. Eze for the March 9 governorship election, arguing that he was the legitimate governorship candidate of the party in the state. He also argued that he emerged winner of the party's primary election held on October 6, 2018. Anyanwu had told the court that he pulled 855 votes out of 1,409 casts to defeat other aspirants while claiming that Eze never participated in the said primary election. He also alleged that Eze was still a member of the All Progressive Great Alliance (APOGA) and therefore did not participate in the election. Delivering judgment, Justice Tinjie Regime said that the SDP had conducted primary elections on the said dates. Regime also held that in line with Section 1332 of the Evidence Act, the plaintiff was a winner of the said election. Regime further ordered SDP to replace Eze's name with that of the plaintiff and to submit some to the INEC, in line with the Section 874B of the Constitution. Reacting to the judgment, counsel to the plaintiff, Mr. S.A. Anyaleweshi, expressed satisfaction with the judgment, adding that it was a vindication of Nigeria's democracy. Also reacting, Mr. Kamdirim Ebere, counsel to Eze, expressed his belief in the judiciary as the last hope of the common man, adding that his clients might appeal the decision that further deliberation. After further deliberation. Meanwhile, Anyanwu has said that his party would have an open door for an alliance with any party even as the election comes up in a few days. He stated this on Tuesday while briefing newsmen. Anyanwu said, "Let it be on record that with these judgments, we are all winners. Therefore, I appeal to all parties faithful to remain united and support our common agenda come Saturday election."
UK calls for credible and peaceful elections. As the nation prepares for the governorship and state house of assembly elections on Saturday, the United Kingdom UK has called for credible and peaceful polls across the country. In a statement by the Senior Communication Officer, Press and Public Affairs, British High Commission, Tinoluwa Adelegan, in Abuja, the UK also reminded all actors in the Saturday election that anyone involved in violence or inciting violence, including on social media, could face restrictions on their ability to travel to the UK. The UK said it hopes that the causes of logistical issues that characterized the February 23, 2019 election have been identified and addressed. The UK also decried the high levels of violence in some states across the violent clashes. The UK also decried the high levels of violence in some states across the country during the presidential election, which it said included reports of violence, clashes involving the military in Rivers State. The UK condemned all acts of violence and called for those responsible to be brought to justice. The British High Commission encourages Nigerians to turn out and vote on Saturday, March 9th, in elections for state governorships and state houses of assembly. These elections are an important opportunity for citizens to exercise their democratic rights and choose their leaders. We hope that the causes of logistical issues on the February 23rd election have been identified and addressed. We commend INEC staff and the National Youth Service Corps who play a critical role in the delivery of elections, often in difficult circumstances. We hope that they will be given every support and protection necessary to ensure the smooth and peaceful delivery of elections, free from fear of intimidation or interference in the electoral process. We were concerned about the reports of high levels of violence in some states across Nigeria during the recent presidential election, including reports of violence, clashes involving military in Rivers State. We condemn all acts of violence and call for those responsible to be brought to justice. We call on all actors including political parties and security personnel, to work together to provide a peaceful environment for Nigerians to vote on March 9th. We remind all actors that anyone involved in violence or inciting violence, including on social media, could face restrictions on their ability to travel to the UK. The UK further said it would again field observer teams across the country on Saturday as part of its efforts to support the nation's democracy.
It's my last lap, I won't disappoint, Buhari assures. President Muhammadu Buhari has assured Nigerians that he would work harder in this second team, which he described as his last lap, to address the challenges facing the country, adding that he will not let them down. He gave the assurance when he had an audience with the leadership of the Ariwa Consultative Forum, ACF, when it paid him a congratulatory visit in the presidential villa, Abuja. Buhari said, "This is my last lap. I will try to work harder. I assure you, I will not let you down." Chairman of the ACF's Board of Trustees, Alhaji Adamu Finka, who led the delegation, said the visit was to congratulate the president on his victory at the poll. Finka recalled that in May 2016, when the delegation led by the late Alhaji Yusuf Matami Sule Danamasin Kano, they had drawn Buhari's attention to projects of concern to the north and the benefits to Nigeria at large. He listed the projects to include the Barrow Dry Port, the Mambila Hydropower, self-sufficiency in agricultural produce, record roads construction and rehabilitation, and above all, oil and gas exploration. It is pleasing to note that since then, the Barrow Dry Port has been commissioned, while all other projects have been reactivated and now being implemented, Finka said. The elder statesman said, "We pray that those organs of government charged with the responsibility for the implementation will double their efforts to ensure that these projects are executed fully to their logical conclusion within a reasonable time."
A reminder of the headlines. Atiku's PDP supporters in Imo on warpath with ihedioha. UK calls for credible and peaceful elections.
Court sack Okieze Imo SDP Uber candidate. It's my last lap, I won't disappoint, Buhari assures.
From SWAT TV, I am Sandra Blessed Odumola.
And I, Ola Omokechi Ifeme.